Welcome back, guys. An absolutely gorgeous day down here in Southwest Florida. We're pushing about 68 degrees right now. I did have sweatpants on this morning, a little cold for me, but the temps are getting back up there. Got a lot to cover. Gonna do a pretty quick one here for you. Want to start off talking about the changes that are possibly coming to the MLS system that we use, the multiple listing system. You guys know there was a pretty big shakeup recently over the commission lawsuit where no one is allowed to display if the seller is offering a commission or not, or what that is on our MLS listing service anymore. And it also has required us to enter into buyer broker agreements with any buyers we're going to be showing properties. The commission on the buyer's end has to be pre-negotiated out if the seller is not going to be paying it. It's going to have to come from the buyer. Now, in my market, sellers are still offering commission. It's pretty common. It's not always what I want, but it's still there. And you know, sometimes buyers just don't have the money to come up with the difference. So they're starting to look at different effects, different changes that the MLS is going to be seeing aside from this in the coming years. And some of the stuff I'm hearing I'm not too crazy about. I gotta be honest, I think it's a little wild, and I don't know if it's going to accomplish what it's necessarily meant to accomplish. I'm walking around Punta Gorda Isles here today, guys, so you'll see some waterfront houses behind me. The first thing that they started talking about now is they want to make the process more transparent and fair to both buyer and seller. And one of the ways that they've discussed doing that is, well, if you as a buyer can see how long the seller has had their house listed, some people feel the seller should be able to know how long you've been looking for a house, which I personally do not agree with. I think that's crazy. Not only is that going to cause so many potential issues, just the way to enforce that and track it, what do I need to do? I sign a buyer's agreement, buyer broker agreement with a customer, and then when I submit their offer, I have to fill in somewhere how long they've been looking for a house. How would you even police that? How would you even judge that? I don't know. What do you guys think? That sounds a little crazy to me, and I'd love to hear your opinions on it. One of the downsides, potentially, or I won't say ulterior motives, but the consequences of this is there's going to be a lot of pushback from buyers. They're not going to want to tell sellers how long they've been looking at homes, and rightfully so. So, in the interest of fairness, I could see, this is all theory, I could see this potentially turning into a play. Well, if the buyers don't want to tell you how long they've been looking, you don't have to tell them how long the house has been listed as a seller. This could be a play to remove days on market from websites, MLS. So unless you saw the day the house was listed or you noticed when the sign was in the yard, there's really going to be no way to tell how long that home has been on the market, because all of the days on market, all of the data at Zillow, Redfin, all these other websites gets fed through an MLS initially, through a cooperation with them. So if that got removed, could cause some issues. I don't know. What do you guys think about this proposed change? Again, this is all theory and conjecture right now, just rumors and things people are talking about. But let me know in the comments what you feel about it. Another obstacle popping up is these MLSs, such as the one in Phoenix, some in Michigan, are pushing back that you should not have to be a member of the National Association of Realtors to participate in the MLS. Now, I like the trade group. I know people have different opinions on them. They give me access to a lot of data. There are bonuses there for me. A lot of the stuff I cover on the channel is through their data. So, you know, this is not necessarily my personal opinion, but some associations have now opened up the availability to use the MLS without being a member of the National Association of Realtors. And there's a distinction there, guys, between a real estate sales agent and a realtor. Those are usually, you know, interchangeable, but you are a real estate sales agent if you have a real estate license and you conduct yourself in real estate sales. You are a realtor if you join the National Association of Realtors and you abide by their code of ethics and all these other things that they've come out with that we're mandated to meet, training classes and things like that. So there is a big distinction, but we're getting MLSs pushing back saying, no, I don't think you should have to join this trade group in order to get access to this data. And some have sued to remove themselves from it. So I think that's another shakeup that we could possibly see come into the market. It might be I don't know if it's general access to the public in the future, if everybody can see it. Most of it's on Zillow anyway. There's a lot of stuff out there now. And oh, look at this guy. Did I just walk past this without knowing this is for sale? Been watching this house get built forever. I'm gonna pull this guy up, see what they're asking on this bad boy. Waterfront with a pool here. All right, guys, this house is actually an excellent example of what I'm talking about in real time here. So I just saw the sign go in the ground. This house has already had a $50,000 price cut. It is sitting at $1,149,000. You get 4 beds, 3 baths, 3,000 square feet, just over a third of an acre lot here. Why, and I will go through and look at it, but why I think this is interesting is it's showing 85 days on Zillow. But if I look in the MLS, it tells me 270. So coming down here, looking at the price history, they just did a $50,000 price drop. They were back at $1.2 million, and that's actually more than a $50,000 price drop because they were at $1,220. But the listing was taken off the market here in July. So it has actually been listed since January 22nd of 2024. That's actually my birthday. 122. It originally came up for $1,250,000. So why is it not displaying 270 days on the market? Why is it only displaying 85 from when the listing was removed and put back on? Generally, you need to leave a listing off the market for 60 days in our MLS to reset the days on market, but Zillow reset it. Zillow has it as 85. So that's very strange to me. And I'll show you here on my MLS history. You can see the whole time it's been listed here. And it shows average days on market, 270. Cumulative days on market, 270. But Zillow has it as 85 for some reason. So does that change the way people perceive this? Probably. I think it does, especially when you see the price initially was $1,250,000. Then they did a $150,000 price drop, came back on the market, almost back to their original asking price, put the price down again, put the price down again. I mean, the time on market changes things, so I can see why maybe people don't want this out there. It looks like they bought the lot for $260,000 back in 2023. Well, anyway, let's take a look. $1,149,000. That's a little bit of a low res photo. And this is another situation where it's kind of hard to get a larger boat in here. I've watched this be built for so long. I've never seen the inside of it. I don't walk in and take a look at it, guys. I don't want to trespass, but it's interesting to see the final product. I will say that is an awesome pool view area. Doesn't look like it's got a lot of space to get sun though. So that's a challenge. Most of it's covered. People want somewhere to get sun aside from the pool. This is outdoor kitchen under the covered area. It's a great view though. Great view. All right, just wanted to check it out. Back to the video. Now, of course, guys, the big concern when these changes came down the pipe was, oh my God, buyers are gonna have to pay their agent's commission. No one's gonna use buyer's agents. They're just gonna go right to the listing agent. Here, that really hasn't happened. In our market, specifically with the amount of inventory and the velocity of sales we have, sellers are still generally offering a commission. They may not be, but what I try to do is just negotiate it in the offer. It's all negotiable, guys. It's all negotiable points, and that's how I've been approaching it. There are different fees on some of these agreements for buyer's agents where they can have a cancellation fee or they can have a retainer. You guys know how I feel on that. I don't do that. I think if you want to fire me, fire me. Like, I don't want to make you work with me or pay me a cancellation fee. It just didn't work out. You know what it is, And that the risk is on me to do that. That's how I operate. I've actually seen commissions increase for some savvy agents under this structure, which was surprising. So, the question is, are commissions coming down? It depends on every transaction. It depends on every seller, every buyer, what they agree on. And yeah, some sellers are not offering compensation, but like I said, it becomes a negotiable point when you make the offer at that time. I also want to address rate buy downs because some of the concerns people have made to me and reached out in the comments are that these rate buy downs that people partook in last year are set to start resetting. We really didn't see this happen until spring of 2023. And if you guys don't know what this was, usually builders, but also sellers were offering money to buy down your interest rate. 2-1 buy down was popular. So they would buy your interest rate down for the first 2 years, it would be lower, and then it would reassess at whatever rate you agreed to. Now, people do say, well, that's basically an adjustable rate mortgage. Not completely wrong, but not completely accurate either. An adjustable rate mortgage is going to readjust to whatever market rate is. These adjustment rates were pre-negotiated. So say the first year someone, just for round numbers, is gonna pay 4.5%, the next year they'd pay 5, and the following year they'd pay 6. They had to qualify at that 6% number the whole time. So they had to qualify at the end point for the rate increase. Whereas with an adjustable rate mortgage going the market rate, you have no idea what that end rate is gonna be. And honestly, 6% is probably looking pretty good right now as we're floating higher than 7. So the main difference with these rate buy downs is the purchasers knew what the final payment was gonna be in 2 years. Now, are there going to be some people who really banked on a refinance? They looked at that payment 2 years out and said, ooh, that's gonna be tough unless I get a pay raise, or God forbid something happens and I get laid off or my job changes, that's gonna be tough to hit, I need a refinance. Those people are going to have issues because they were sold bank on a refinance. That was the whole date the rate, marry the house nonsense, guys, that I said you can't count on. So they're gonna go to 6% interest rates, and honestly, that's better than the prevailing rate right now still, but you're gonna have that subset of people who didn't plan for it. All they did was bank on the refinance, and yes, they're gonna find themselves in trouble, especially if they purchased at the peak of 22, tail end into 23. Yeah, that could become an issue for some, but I don't think it's going to be really anything measurable from the rate buy down programs, the buy down incentives. And some people, that really only went on, I wanna say it was heavily pushed spring of 23. By the fall, it was kind of losing style, losing fashion, and then sellers stopped doing it outright because it wasn't moving their houses. And builders just turned around and said, screw the buy down, we're just gonna, the 2-1, we're just gonna buy you down indefinitely. So I did a lot of new construction homes at 4.99, under 5, and that's 30-year fixed. They just moved to that and stopped with the buy down nonsense. So I don't think it's going to have as big of an impact as people think. Now, if you did an adjustable rate mortgage banking on things, yeah, that could be an issue. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.